Here I am again, reviewing an indie racing game. I guess something about this game just call out to me. This one being developed by Lucky Mountain Games in partnership with Sumo Digital. Lucky Mountain Games being the indie studio that came up with the concept for this game. And what is that concept? From my perspective, it seems to be to make a classic arcade racing game with modern hardware. And visually, they achieve that, obviously. Inspired by classics like Virtua Racing and Daytona USA, there is an early 90s look to it, with its blocks and sharp look and very bright colors. But the game goes beyond that, having a level of detail and effects that just wouldn't be possible with those original games. Which actually leads to the game being quite eye straining when you first start playing it, due to the sheer amount of detail and things occupying the scenery in this style of graphics, but I quickly adjusted to it despite it. Gameplay wise, it's also like those old arcadey games, which I guess goes to show how the core of arcade racing hasn't changed much in the last 30 years. 3-lap races, unrealistic physics for the sake of allowing contact and crashes between cars without destroying the flow and odds of a short race, and drifting that is a lot more useful than your brakes. There is even a race starting boost a la Mario Kart, and all of it makes sense, given the length of the track, the awfully large amount of shocks between cars, and the abundant rubber banding. Rubber banding, one of the most controversial pieces of design ever put into a racing game. Here, I don't really mind it, but I also never really lost a race because of it. But it has gotten close, so if this is something that bothers you, be aware. But this does lead me to talk about the difficulty. Playing on normal, I never lost a race, but due to its rubber banding, I never had a problem where the race became boring because I was gaining a big distance between my opponents. I had a crash that put me in last place, and I still recovered to first in the same lap on normal difficulty. Also, there is a timer always on top of the screen, and on lower difficulties it's very much just for show. So people who are already used to playing these classic racing games might want to go for higher difficulties, where the game also moves faster. But a warning, the highest difficulty is arguably even harder than those classic arcade games that were made to take away your money. As far as story goes, there isn't one per se, which is to be expected of a game like this, but there are characters with their very out there personalities. For example, we have this rich Englishman who keeps insisting he's more than his father's money, or a very nationalistic Russian man that also makes Fast and Furious references. They have their own short cutscenes if they win a cup, and they will also say quippy lines during a race, which I felt was alright, if a bit disappointing, as the only voice you will hear during a race is of your own character. I thought it would have been a lot cooler if characters had some level of banter with each other during the races, especially given their eccentric personalities. Winning races also gives you money, which you can use to modify your cars visually, but given the art style of the game, these differences can be hard to spot sometimes, and that's a shame, as unlocking all the car parts would be one of the major reasons to replay the game. Content-wise, the game is rather short. There are 4 cups and you can finish them all within less than 2 hours, which is a downside of it being a retro-inspired game. But there is other more unique modes like Drive or Explode, where the player has to maintain a certain speed to not explode, or Cops and Robbers, which is sort of like Infected from Modern Warfare 3, where the objective of the cops is turning everyone else into cops, and the other player's objective is to survive the longest without getting caught. This mode being primarily made to be played with other people. There is online multiplayer, but like in my last review, with a game like this, it's hard to tell how the player base will be when you decide to play the game, so be sure to look out for that. But there is also split screen multiplayer, which is a very welcome addition to a game like this, and that might be the preferable way to play this game. So, do I recommend this game? I felt that I was very positive towards this game during my review, and in truthfulness, while not an amazing game, it is a very fun one. And at $20, it's not hard to recommend, assuming you will play more than just a single player content. If you're using this to have some fun with your friends, especially in split screen, then yeah, it's an easy recommendation. But if you're gonna play this alone or just curious to try it out because of the art style, but you're not really into the type of game, then much like my last review, I would wait for a sale for the game to go for $10 or less. Then I think you'd be getting a pretty good deal for the amount of single player content. And that is it for another review. Please subscribe and give a like. Hopefully by the time this video goes out, I'm not sick anymore, or at least I'm just not, on the drugs, medical drugs, pills. I don't know. Regardless, thank you for watching. Hopefully my channel has more subscribers. Who knows? You could help change that because you're a human and you have the power to click the subscribe button. Thanks. Bye.